Following Tropical Storm Isaias as it approaches the Carolinas, we still have hurricane warnings from the mid part of the east coast of South Carolina all the way to the midpoint of North Carolina, as this storm is still expected to hit Category 1 status. Glad to see you all. August 3rd, 2020, 5:09 p.m. And yes, we're continuing to track Tropical Storm Isaias, expected to be a Category 1 storm as it makes landfall in the Carolinas. This article here on npr.org put out about 3:40 p.m. Tropical Storm Isaias expected to make landfall as a hurricane in the Carolinas. Check this out. The National Hurricane Center is warning residents of the Carolinas to brace for the effects of a tropical storm or a possible hurricane, which is expected to make landfall as a hurricane in northeastern South Carolina and southern North Carolina by Monday evening. And also with that information, we have an update on our storm surge chart. As you can see, this storm is certainly going to be clipping a lot more than the Carolinas. The Carolinas will be more than likely the landfall area with the potential of this being a Category 1 storm. And if you look at the storm surge chart here, in between South Santee River and Cape Fear, that storm surge goes up to about 3 to 5 feet. That's because that counterclockwise spin, if we look at the infrared loop here, we can see that spin is going to be pulling that moisture and that storm surge into that area. And that's what brings us the possibility of that 3 to 5 foot storm surge, which may actually be a little higher than this, even though we are expected to land as a Category 1 storm. I think they're sitting right between that high tropical storm, low-grade Category 1 storm surge number. Overnight last night, as you could see here, these heavy rain bands were all over the east coast of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina, leading up to about present time, which you're going to see right about here. We almost saw a little bit of weakening in this storm a few hours ago, and then just as we thought it might calm down a little bit, which was right about here, we had another almost explosion in the middle of that storm. You can really see those clouds puffing out of the middle there just as it's approaching that basic border there between the Carolinas. Now, the chances of this becoming a Category 1 storm are very high. In fact, by the next time we get an update here, the last update was around 5 o'clock. I believe the next one's at 8. We may be at that Category 1 status. One positive thing with this storm is it is moving north in a pretty decent amount of speed. So you could see that here with Monday 5 p.m., which is about 19 minutes ago. By Tuesday 2 p.m., which is just under 24 hours, we are all the way up by southern New Jersey, already past the Chesapeake Bay. So we need to keep an eye on that area, especially with all the inlets with the water in there. It always gets dangerous with these big storms. And most of our tracks are lining up pretty well right now. As I bring up the spaghetti plots here, we can see them really tightening up. And once it hits land, we all know these storms do tend to decrease in speed very quickly, but this one is going to carry its way all the way up the northeast. We're expected a lot of rain in the next couple of days, at least here in northeast Pennsylvania. So those of you in Chesapeake Bay, Rhode Island, Jersey, Long Island, Rhode Island up here, I should say, Connecticut, all these states in the northeast are certainly going to be getting their fair deal of rain. As you can see here, some of these areas getting upwards of 6 inches of rain. This may change as time goes on, but we see that central area of the storm kind of cutting through the Carolinas, up through Virginia, and then Chesapeake Bay, as we talked about, and then boom, right through the northeast. So we still have a few days to track this storm, but most importantly is what's going on right now closer to Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, as this storm is still very tight, compact, and approaching Category 1 status. And really quick before I end this update, just to give you another idea of how much distance this storm covers in just a 24-hour period, I have you here on Vent2 Sky, and if I click to the 4th, which will take us 24 hours ahead of time, we can see where this storm is now centralized just under Philadelphia, which is a long area to cover in a short period of time. So the storm is moving fast. It's going to come and go quick, but not before dumping a lot of rain everywhere it touches. I now switched over to the wave chart here, and we can see in the center of this storm, we're looking at 30, 28, very high squalls there, and then as you get to the outskirts of it, obviously it lowers. But as the storm approaches that possible landfall, we're going to start seeing these numbers hit the coast here, and that also relates directly to the coastal chart. So there is room for that to rise or decrease depending on where exactly this storm hits. But time will tell, guys. We have a few hours, probably 5 to 6 hours before we're getting really close to a landfall, and by that time we should have a good idea about the wind speeds we're going to be dealing with, and more accurate numbers as far as coastal flooding, but expect that 3 to 5, especially where the landfall is going to take place, and then afterwards we got to see how the land interaction affects this storm speed-wise and rain-wise. I want to thank you all again for checking in as we update on this storm. More updates to come, but again, we could see that jagged line going straight up the East Coast. So please keep yourselves updated either by your local weather or obviously by checking these videos here. But that's it, guys. I hope everyone's safe. Any questions or concerns, please leave down below. Thank you all very much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.